Oh, what a look that is here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, as we are getting set. They are on the field for this spring game. And let's revisit the format of how this will work. We've got a white team, which is offense, the orange team, which is defense. They will alternate possessions. The white team will start, punts not live, 15-minute quarters, and a 10-minute halftime. And we are all set to go. Joe Milton will start at the quarterback here for the white team. And he's got Dylan Sampson in the backfield.
I think they're going to throw a little shot to Jacob Warren here, tight end, bottom of your screen.
Pump. There's a throw down the sideline, and it's too much, incomplete.
I wish I could say I'm Tony Romo, but you know, these spring games are a little looser, so I was down on the field before the game talking to offensive coordinator Joey Hazley, and he's like, hey, first play, we throw a lot of those quick screens. I'm going to pump one, try to hit Warren down the sideline. Good recovery there on defense and just out of the reach.
So here on second down, another throw comes near side for the true freshman Nathan Leacock. And Leacock will get 3 yards.
And this will be fun to see, right? Spring game, there's fans. Like, how are they operating the tempo now in a game-like environment? They've had a few scrimmages, but this is where Tennessee really makes their money on offense, that speed that they go at.
Speaking of speed, there was a speed on the throw, but it's incomplete. Good defense. Danico Slaughter there to break it up. Jalen McCullough.
In-breaking route here. We'll get to some of the guys that are not on the field today. Joe Milton throwing to some new faces, some young faces out there. There's a few of the guys that you would know.
Jackson
Ross taking the Saturday off.
Speaking of taking the Saturday off, Jackson Ross punting. No one else except for the snapper and the returner on the field. So now we get to see the freshman, Nico Iamale. I can't even say this when I have to.
Iamaleava. You know what's funny is we practice this so much. We said it right a million times and the lights come on and
then I fail.
We quiver into a little ball.
Well, here is the guy they call Nico, 6'6", 205 pounds, Iamaleava. And Cameron Seldon will start at tailback here. In the shotgun is Nico. In motion is Seldon. And the pass is to Seldon in some open space. The coaching staff loves this kid.
Oh, he's going to be somebody to watch. True freshman, 6'2", 215. And the staff said he's more like 220 right now. I'm going to give you a comp for him. Cordell Patterson. Wow. Guy that Tennessee fans know well, and here's why. In high school, played at receiver out in space, got direct snaps, kind of ran around everybody because he was a better athlete. He's learning the running back position now, but he could be a guy that as he develops in his career here, they use out in space in the slot and give him a lot of flexibility, kind of like Cordell does now at the next level in the NFL.
He gets tackled in the backfield for a loss of 1. Joshua Josephs gets credit for that, TFL. Third down here for the freshman. Dumps it out, incomplete. Out of the reach of Cameron Seldon. Every play on that drive was to that kid, Cameron Seldon.
Yeah, not the fireworks we thought we'd see early on, but really when you're evaluating Nico, you really just want his eyes to go in the right spots at the right times. And on that one, went to his first and second read, got down to his third read, the running back. Yeah, inaccurate pass, incompletion, but he's going through the process. He's getting to the right reads at the right times. That's what you want to see early out of your young quarterback.
D. Williams with a fair catch. Well, we got no score between Tennessee and Tennessee early on here in Tennessee.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere? And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. 20 times more volume, up to 2 times more length. A clump-resistant caring formula, now infused with floral oil.
Take your lashes to paradise.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
1 cinnamon caramel cream nitro cold brew. All right, see you tomorrow.
Science proves quality sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed. It's temperature balancing so you stay cool. It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable all night. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. So you're at your best for yourself and those you care about most. And now save up to $1,000 on our most popular Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
It was me the whole time!
Gaston Moore is now going to be in at quarterback here in the shotgun. The transfer from UCF. He was a walk-on there. And on first down, the handoff up the middle. And it's Deshaun Bishop. Jason Jenkins with the tackle. Moore on the run, throws, has a man open, it's complete. Down the sideline, Mitchell Bittner, 42 yards.
And this is a great job by Gaston Moore. First read to the left side of the field is actually a walk-on that only got on the team a few days ago. We were told he wasn't even going to be playing. I don't even have him on my roster. So you move on, make a play outside the pocket, and find somebody open downfield. Great job. You're going to see here him looking to the left. And his receiver out there, the walk-on that I mentioned, is actually blocking, not running a route, Justin, which doesn't help a quarterback out. But Gaston does a great job of scrambling and making a play happen.
Here he is, moving out of the pocket, scrambling again, and they're going to blow the whistle saying he was down. It was Michael Bittner on the catch. Austin Lewis gets credit for shoving him out of bounds here. It's going to be a loss of 3.
And that's what you want to see out of your quarterbacks today, is just solving problems in adversity. Because it's going to be ugly at times. Receivers running routes, not running routes. Timing's going to be off. Your top 4 receivers are not on the field. So the cohesiveness is not going to be there. So these quarterbacks are going to be judged on how many problems they solve, how quickly they can solve those, and if they can make some plays when maybe there's not something there.
Here's a pass to Dante Thornton.
Not Thornton. That's the walk-on I was talking about.
Oh,
I think his last name is
31.
Locke.
Yes, I was going to say.
We saw him at practice yesterday. He's only been with him a couple days. We were told he wasn't going to be on the field, so I don't even have him on my list. But nice job making up for blocking on a few plays earlier when he was supposed to be running that slant route.
Bishop gets the first down. Rolling out again, Moore. He's going to scamper down the field, out of bounds inside the 10. They're going to mark him out at the 6. An 18-yard scamper there for Gaston Moore. First and goal here for the white team. Back of the end zone, that pass is caught for the touchdown. Dayton Sneed on the nice throw by Gaston Moore.
Couple really nice plays by Gaston Moore. What I love about this is he's actually a hair late on this throw. Watch him hold it right here, but because he knows he's late, he throws it more on a line as opposed to putting air on it, so he's not late, even though he let the ball go later than he thought he should. And an accurate throw and a great catch by Dayton Sneed, the true freshman out of Hermitage, Tennessee.
Charles Campbell, transfer from Indiana, on for the extra point. The extra point is good. White team leads 7-0. So not sure we thought of the 3 quarterbacks to lead a scoring drive. It was going to be Gaston Moore, but Gaston Moore did a nice job on that drive for Tennessee. You mentioned some of the players who are out today for Tennessee. On the wide receiver front, on the offensive front, there are a lot of big names not playing.
Yeah, a couple of names that you know really well at receiver. Brew McCoy is going to play a big role next fall. Ramel Keaton had a huge year. He's going to be pivotal moving forward. And then maybe a name that you don't know there at the bottom of your screen, Dante Thornton, the transfer from Oregon that this coaching staff is so excited about. A guy that has some of what Jalen Hyatt had. His speed, his size is a little bit bigger than Hyatt, but everyone's saying he can run just about as fast. So a guy we won't get to look at today, but a guy that will be playing a big role in the fall.
On the defensive side, Keenan Peely. He's going to be a linebacker transfer out of BYU. They're very high on him. He's out as well, as Joe Milton takes over here at quarterback. Empty backfield for him, and Milton up the middle will get maybe a yard. Elijah Herring was there.
You mentioned Keenan Peely. Not many times does a transfer come in and already regarded as a starter. Only a few months later, not even spring practice over with. So the impact that he's made from a leadership standpoint, from an experience standpoint, so early. He'll be next to Aaron Beasley in the fall, and that linebacker crew is looking pretty strong.
Chaz Nimrod with a catch off the pass from Milton. On 3rd and short, the handoff. Just trying to move the chains, and they do. Dylan Sampson with the carry for the first down. Milton forced out of the pocket, and he is going to scramble for about 8 yards.
Another storyline to watch here in spring, and in the spring game today, is the offensive line for Tennessee, especially that right tackle position, replacing Darnell Wright, who's going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL. Interestingly enough, right now, looks like Jeremiah Crawford is there at right tackle, number 53. He's in a competition with Dane Davis, left tackle spot also up for grabs. Gerald Mincy in that conversation, John Campbell in that conversation. So I think that offensive line outside probably Cooper Mays at center and Javonte Spraggins at right guard is up in the air, and it will continue into fall camp, but something that they could depend on, especially that right side with Darnell Wright last year. They need to find some of that continuity here going into fall camp after the spring game.
Well, just as you're talking about the offensive line, they give up a sack, and then this pass is complete to Chaz Nimrod. Leslie Walker there on the tackle. 3rd down coming up. How difficult is it to judge what these quarterbacks do today with all the receivers that are out?
It's really hard, and mostly because, and we were talking to Joe Milton about it yesterday, is it takes a little bit of the scrambling element out of it, because they're going to blow the whistle quickly. These quarterbacks have on the smoky grays for a reason. They're going to be non-contact. So as that defense gets within 2 or 3 steps, they're going to start to throttle down or just run away. And so that whistle sometimes gets blown a little bit early. And I'm a quarterback. I'm a little biased. But so it takes some of that, those second reaction plays away from the quarterback that are so dangerous that Joe Milton's going to be able to do in the season.
It's a nice punt by Jackson Ross.
So again, you really just want to evaluate the decision making. Is the ball going to the right spot? Doesn't matter if it's incomplete, not incomplete, right? Are the decisions being made? Was it accurate? Was it the correct decision? That's what they're really going to be judged on today. Not what's on the scoreboard, not the stat line. They just want to see growth.
So this is a game where you really are going to have to go back, watch the film for the coaching staff to figure out exactly, hey, did they go through the correct progressions? Did the receivers run the right route?
Totally.
So it's not going to be so easy to the naked eye. It's going to take some film work.
And that's what's, frustrating from a spring game perspective, from a fan perspective. It's not going to be clean. There's injuries, there's guys out, but you want to see those little crumbs that you can build upon.
It's going to be the second time we'll see the freshman Nico Iamaleava.
This is a great scenario to evaluate a quarterback in as well. A young quarterback backed up in the shadow of his own goalposts. So that decision making has got to be quicker. got to know, I don't got time. I don't have time to go 1, 2, 3. I might only have time to go 1, 2, and the ball's got to be out of my hand. They might run it here early to give him a little bit of space, but see how much they trust him.
He gives it to Selden, and every single play with Nico in at quarterback has involved Cameron Selden. Again, Selden tries to bounce it outside. Gets up to the 9-yard line. Christian Charles with a stop, a pickup of 4, sets up 3rd and 4.
I mean, at almost 200 pounds, he was running a 10.74 in the 100-meter in high school. He's a special talent.
That pass is dropped by Michael Bittner. But we do have a flag in the end zone.
Personal foul, face mask. That penalty is declined.
That's against Jackson Lampley. So that'll be declined, forcing a punt here for the white team.
But again, the one throw there by Nico, a slant route to the left, it was actually a really well thrown ball. Coverage was slightly over the top, so as a quarterback, you want to put that kind of on his back hip. You don't want to lead him in that situation. That's right where the ball was. Should have been caught, whether it would have been a first down or not. That's a good rep by Nico and something that you won't show up in the stat line, but good decision, good rep.
Fair catch signaled and made. 7-0 white team leading the orange here in the first. Possession of the game, so it's orange with possession, and Gaston Moore is back in at quarterback. 4 for 4 in his first drive, a touchdown and an 18-yard scramble. On first down, the handoff is to Deshaun Bishop. He gets 2 yards up the middle. Caleb Williams with a tackle. Another handoff, looking for some room is Bishop. Picks up 4 more, sets up 3rd down and 4. Now they go empty backfield. Moore straight up the middle, and let's see where they mark him down. He's going to be shy of that first down marker.
See, that's one of those that's a disadvantage to the quarterback, because even if he's getting hit there, he's falling forward, probably picking up that 1 or 2 yards. But
well, they give him the first down anyway.
Oh, they did? Okay. Well, the far judge spotted that short.
I know. Slings this one, and that's complete. Nigel Lanier with the catch. And that one was blown dead. We're going to have a false start here against the offense.
False start, and the offense number 89 never got that. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Hunter Salmon, 5th-year senior out of Birmingham, Alabama. Gaston Moore, you don't see many kids out of Hilton Head, South Carolina, playing quarterback at Division I. Handing off a huge hole for Bishop. And Bishop will get 9 yards. John Slaughter there to finally make the stop. They'll give it to Bishop again. Got stopped once. Second effort gets the first down.
Well, Coach Heupel's got to be really happy right now with Gaston Moore, how he's managing the tempo, right? These are mostly the 3rd string guys in there, the 3rd team in here. Had the 1 penalty on the false start, but they're going fast. They're efficient.
Here's Moore taking the shot. His receiver broke off the route.
A big miscommunication there down at the bottom. Gaston was expecting a double move, and receiver shook, went upfield, then stopped again.
Nigel Lanier and Gaston Moore not on the same page for that one. I think the fans are kind of like, wait, what happened to the offense? I thought we were going to have like a high-scoring affair. I mean, this team last year was the best offense in the country. Well, it's early. There are a lot of guys out. Patience. On third down, Moore wide open. Dayton Sneed. And Sneed takes it down to the 20. An 18-yard completion.
I'm not sure Rocky Top understands patience anymore after the quick turnaround by Josh Heupel. Again, a great job there by Gaston Moore, working the outside slant to the inside. Nice little drive here.
A 7-yard run for Bishop. Makai Bigelow with the tackle. And again, it's Bishop behind a blocker. And Bishop, he's got the first down.
Again, top 2 running backs, Jabari Small and Jalen Wright, out today as well. But the big misconception, I think, nationally, obviously Tennessee fans know it. I work the SEC so much, I know it as well. But this is not a high-flying, throw the ball all over the field type of offense. They do that, but they want to be a running team first. Why? Because those wide splits completely messes with the structure of a defense. If you're able to run the football, they got to add one, which means now it's completely a one-on-one ball on the outside, and then those big plays have a better chance of hitting. So Joey Hazley reinforced it when we met with him yesterday. We want to get back to running the football. Did it well last year at times. Have a deep running back group this year. I expect them to be really successful on the ground, and we'll see those shots come as they always do.
Patrick Wilk now comes in for Deshaun Bishop. Bishop, a really good drive, as we're under 3:45 here in the first quarter. It's Wilk on the carry. And he'll be taken down by Jason Jenkins. 3rd and goal coming up. Now, if Gaston Moore and the offense can get a touchdown here, Moore will be responsible for 7 points for White and 7 points for Orange.
How diplomatic of him.
Oh, nice throw. Drop down, sidearm, completes for the touchdown to Hunter Salmon. The man wearing gray has a touchdown for each team.
A heck of a drive. Really good throws. Really my first taste of watching Gaston Moore. We saw him in practice yesterday a little bit. Little sidearm there. I love that. Finding the lane to complete that ball over the middle as a quarterback that's not as tall, 6'2", but he's not a 6'4", 6'5" guy that can see the field really well. So finding that alley to the tight end. Showing a lot of talent and a lot of leadership on that drive to get that third team together on tempo, drive down the field for the second time.
Gaston Moore was 3 for 4 on that drive, so he is 7 for 8 in the game with 2 touchdowns.
Is there a quarterback controversy on Rocky Top? I mean, everybody's talking about Joe Milton and Nico Iamaleava. What about Gaston Moore?
That was Jordan Rogers. That was Jordan Rogers. But let's talk about the quarterback position in the SEC and the schools that have to replace their quarterbacks and the quarterbacks that they have to replace.
Pretty crazy.
I mean, look at this list.
I mean, Bryce Young is a generational talent. Anthony Richardson is maybe the most athletic and physical specimen that we've seen go in the NFL draft, maybe ever, with what he did at the Combine. Stetson Bennett, a 2-time national champion. Carson Beck, a very talented quarterback, sitting right behind him. Will Levis, obviously, was able to do some big things at Kentucky. Devin Leary transfers in to replace him, and Hendon Hooker with Joe Milton waiting in the wings. So we'll say they're losing a lot of big names, but there's some talent in each one of those rosters that's ready to take that next step and make a name for themselves.
I thought Hendon Hooker, it was really cool speaking with him before, and well, there he is here, and listen to this ovation. A great ovation for Hendon Hooker. He is a big reason why this team went 11-2 last year. He is a big reason why Josh Heupel and the Tennessee coaching staff was able to turn around this program so quickly. And now he talked about being a leader, and he talked about kind of teaching Joe Milton. When we spoke with Joe Milton yesterday, he said, hey, being with Hendon, I watched everything. I listened to everything. And he's learned how to be a leader. Joe said, when I was 17, I wanted to be the best player on the field. Now I want to make everyone around me the best they can be.
Pretty amazing talking to Joe and his development. I thought it was interesting. He said, when I was first at Michigan, they really wanted me to room with Shea Patterson. The other quarterback said, I don't want to room with a guy I'm competing with. Like, I don't want him seeing my habits. And then he goes, then the second time around, transferring to Tennessee, you know, had the opportunity to live with Hendon Hooker. And he goes, I'm not going to make that mistake twice.
Yeah.
I'm going to humble myself. I want to learn from somebody. I'm not afraid of my habits or showing how hard I work. And that relationship between Hendon and Joe Milton, I think, allowed both of them to flourish.
This is now the start of the second quarter. Joe Milton is in at quarterback. And Milton completes the pass as his receiver slips, picks up 7. It was Caleb Webb who went down. On 2nd and 3. Nice job to get outside by Dylan Sampson to pick up the first down. Jalen McCullough able to make the tackle. A 5-yard run for Dylan Sampson. Milton, low throw. A nice job going down to get it. Or did he not get it for Chaz Nimrod? No, incomplete pass. Watching this kid, Joe Milton, and he's not just a kid. I mean, he's about 23 years old. Watching him throw the ball, you're kind of left with your mouth just like, what? What just happened? How did he do that? I mean, throwing it 50 yards on a line effortlessly.
Yeah, that's what's unique about it. Look, I mean, there's a lot of guys that have strong arms that can throw it a long way, but his ability to drive the football and really his maturation of not just having a big arm and throwing it a mile, but being able to complete those plays. I mean, he, in 2021, in the limited time that he was in, balls that were thrown more than 20 yards, he was completing 15%. Last year, 46%. So, I mean, he improved on his ability to not just throw it far, but be accurate in doing so, and that really unlocks this offense that right now, it's a spring game, and everybody's out there, but they're struggling to get going here.
Arion Carter with the sack, second sack against Milton in this game.
And on that drive, we saw Cooper Mays go out of the game at center. So that offensive line is in flux. Receivers are in flux. Again, the scoreboard is not going to be an accurate representation of our quarterbacks today.
Let me ask you this, going into next season, your biggest question mark for Joe Milton is what?
His ability to protect the football and continue to do so. If you think about this offense, they run 90, 100 plays a game sometimes, which means your defense, they're out there a lot as well. The tempo to this offense means your defense is getting a ton of snaps. This offense thrives on not turning the football over. It's okay if you get stopped every now and then because you're going to run so many plays, you'll get more opportunities. But if you start giving the opposing team better field position against a defense that's already playing a lot of snaps, that's what made Hendon Hooker special. Joe Milton has done that in limited time. Did that on a big stage in the Orange Bowl, protected the football, was accurate downfield, made explosive plays. If he can continue to do that, that's the recipe for Tennessee winning 11 games again, and the recipe really for him being talked about as a top 10 draft pick next year.
Iamaleava completes the pass to the sideline. Ethan Davis with the catch. True freshman who they have high hopes for. 6-yard completion. Handoff here to Selden. Jalen Smith comes in to make the tackle. Now third down coming up. Empty backfields. Over the middle. Completes to Selden. And again, let's talk about this kid, Cameron Seldon, a freshman, 6'2", 215. We talked about him, but this coaching staff is saying how they can do so many different things with this kid.
Eventually, right? And that's why he was such an intriguing recruit and prospect, because he's so big, so athletic, can play in space, but really his first time playing true running back, where you got to read blocks in front of you. You got to get north and south, because played at a small school in Virginia, and he was just bigger and faster than everybody. So he could just catch it and run around everybody. And
we've got a fumble. We've also got some flags out. The ball is recovered by the defense, Christian Charles. Let's see what these flags are for.
But that chess piece that Cameron Seldon's going to turn into, like I said, I comped into how Cordell Patterson is used in the NFL now. He's going to be one to watch in a couple years.
All right, so you had just talked about the turnovers as far as Joe Milton is concerned. We just saw Iamaleava get into a little bit of a rhythm, and now this turnover. Going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's killer for this offense because they thrive on tempo. And with this offense, you always talk about getting that first down. So you can get the defense on their heels, push the tempo. So turnovers, negative plays are detrimental to this offense. But again, there's a lot of young guys out there. This is the first time they're going full speed in front of a bunch of fans. So it'll look ugly, but come back, it'll start to look a little bit better, I guarantee.
And we are joined now on the field by Super Bowl champion Trey Smith. Trey, thank you for joining us. Justin Kutcher, Jordan Rogers up here in the booth. How does it feel to hear Super Bowl champion before your name?
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's a tremendous blessing. Sometimes it doesn't feel real, but being able to be a Super Bowl champion, it's a great experience, and extremely blessed for it.
Trey, what did it feel like? I mean, you dreamed of that moment your entire life, right? Was it surreal? Did it feel like a real game? What was it like?
Yeah, no, it was crazy. The game itself, you know, the lead up to the week of the Super Bowl, the whole week of prep, you know, being in Phoenix, a different setting, it was amazing. I mean, there was a ton of media involvement as well. But the overall experience of playing in the Super Bowl, you know, seeing the celebrities, enjoying the game day atmosphere, it was unparalleled to anything I've ever been a part of.
All right, so we have to ask, you are on the offensive line. Your job is to protect a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes. What is it like trying to work with him and watch what he does?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's nerve-wracking sometimes. You don't know where Pat's going to be, but he's going to extend the plays. He's always going to make a play. And for us as offensive line, we come into the game with a mentality understanding that if we give him enough time to throw the ball and do what he does, he's going to make magic happen. That's just who he is.
Trey, coming from the offense that you ran at Tennessee, now being in the NFL, do you feel like it's just the slowest pace ever? I mean, you got to be like, hey, can we pick it up a little bit? I'm used to running 100 plays here. What's going on? How big of a difference was it from this offense to what you run in the NFL now, and do you feel like it gave you an advantage?
Yeah, no, this offense is extremely fast, high-octane, fast-paced. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to play for Coach Heupel, but you know what? It was a huge transition, just the level of being a pro, the details in the approach, but it was definitely a huge transition.
Trey, you mentioned about the media leading up to the Super Bowl, and you've experienced something your sophomore year. They found a blood clot disorder in you, and you've done a great job trying to spread the word about it. What has it been like trying to overcome that, live with it, and also help other people?
Yeah, you know, when I got diagnosed with blood clots in my lungs in 2018, luckily the Tennessee athletic staff was able to find it, diagnose the root of the problem, and was able to take care of it. But for me, you know, as I transitioned to the NFL and had the opportunity to play at the next level, I wanted to bring more awareness to the blood clots. So for me, the National Blood Clot Alliance is a great organization that brings awareness to blood clots, and anything we can do to just help athletes and people who have experienced blood clots as well.
Well, I tell you what, that play right there by Caleb Webb, he's going to want you to keep on talking, because all of a sudden, Caleb Webb and Joe Milton just combined for a great completion of 40 yards.
Yeah, what a play that was.
I was also reading about you and just heard how you said so much about the fit in Kansas City fits you because of, you know, you can go out and you can say hi to people. What's it like now just opening a door and saying, hey, what's up, and people not trying to hound you?
You know, it's great, man. You know, once we won the Super Bowl, and prior to that, the fans of Kansas City is what makes Kansas City a special place. And being at a place like University of Tennessee, you're used to great people, and being have the experience there, it's amazing.
Well, I tell you what, I think we're going to have to keep you on for the entire game because the pace just picked up as Dylan Sampson.
They just keep scoring, man. That's what comes with Tennessee's offense, man.
Trey, what are you gonna do with your ring when you get it? You haven't got it yet, right?
No, I don't have it yet. I'm getting it June 15th.
You're gonna wear it? Or are you gonna be scared to like take it out in public?
No, I'm one of those guys. That ring's gonna be attached to me everywhere
Let's
I go.
go. I love it.
I'm always gonna have. I gotta get a little special case so I can hold it.
There we go.
By the way, you knew the exact date, June 15th.
Yeah.
Hey, Trey, thank you so much for joining us. 2 months until you get that ring exactly from today.
Yep. Can't wait.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thank you. Caleb Webb with a touchdown catch from Joe Milton. Joe Milton had a 40-yard completion. He moves out of the pocket and makes a nice throw to Webb for the touchdown. Here on first down, the handoff to Deshaun Bishop with just about 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Tyree West with the stop, a pickup of 2. Iamaleava is back in there at quarterback, the freshman. He's going to hand off again. And Deshaun Bishop, the freshman from right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, has looked good.
It's always interesting to talk to a quarterback coach and an offensive coordinator, Joey Hasley, about a young quarterback that's as talented as Nico is. You see him break the pocket right now. He's such a natural thrower of the football. So what aspects are you working on? What aspects does he need to improve on? And one of the things he pointed to was naturally a very wide base. And so as a quarterback, sometimes your weight distribution is off. You're not able to transfer your weight as efficiently as possible. You lose a little bit of velocity in those throws. So actually narrowing up his base just a little bit so he doesn't get stuck on that back foot. Really good job of him there. With a lot of noise around him, is still working through his reads, stepping up in the pocket slightly, trying to find a receiver there. So they're tweaking things a little bit mechanically, but he came as a very, very mechanically sound, naturally gifted quarterback. So they're just minor tweaks that they're working on.
You just saw the new offensive coordinator, Joey Halsley. I also thought it was pretty cool when you asked him, what's it like, doing your own board? Calling your own plays.
Yeah, Joey hasn't called plays before, so his first time. Now he's sat next to former offensive coordinator Alex Golesh, now the head coach down at South Florida. As Nico gets outside the pocket.
Oh, what a throw down the field, down the sideline to the freshman Ethan Davis, who makes the catch. A 30-yard completion. Hey, now you know why they're excited about this freshman Ethan Davis.
And this is that natural ability. It's a really hard throw. Flat going to your right to hit a vertical, going straight up the field on a line. Hit that big target out there. It was Ethan Davis, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tight end, 6'5", really excited. He'll play a little slot today as well, just because they're thin at receiver. But watch this, rolling to your right, you got a receiver running vertical. There is zero space. That ball has to be exactly where he threw that. That natural ability kicking in for Nico there.
Tyree West gets into the backfield for the tackle.
But you mentioned Joey Halsley making his board, right? So he sat next to Alex Golesh last year, so it's not like he doesn't know the processes. He was very collaborative with Golesh last year, but it is interesting. You got to kind of find your own flavor.
Yeah.
Right? Where do you want your shot plays? Where do you want your go-tos, your screens, and getting comfortable with your board and understanding what that's going to look like in the heat of the moment. So he's ready for it. Knows this offense inside and out, so I'm excited for kind of his own flavor that he'll bring to this offense in the fall.
3rd down and 6. And it's a running play. Here goes Cameron Seldon into the end zone for the touchdown. 24-yard run by Cameron Seldon, and you just saw the burst of speed by this freshman.
And this is why this offense is so tough. The splits are so wide. You got 3 or 4 receivers way outside the numbers. That means it's a light box, which means you have one more blocker at the offensive front at the point of attack than the defense has. And that's why when Cameron Seldon hits the second level here, there is nobody there. That's why, despite not being a quote-unquote physical running attack, they don't need to be. They spread you out, make you thin, and then run right up the middle.
Charles Campbell on for the extra point. And the extra point is good. And that's going to lead us to halftime here. All tied up at 14, orange and white. Cameron Seldon. Tennessee fans, you're going to hear a lot of that name this season. A 24-yard run by the freshman who wears number 23. Watch him get up the fields, make a move, and dance into the end zone. Halftime here in Knoxville, all tied up at 14. Tennessee getting set to start the third quarter of this Tennessee spring game. The orange and white are tied at 14. Justin Kutcher, Jordan Rogers here with you. And we came in with a lot of expectations, excitement for the quarterbacks, especially the top two quarterbacks in Joe Milton and Nico Iamaleava. And we kind of saw them both kept under wraps, so to speak, in the first half. But again, there are a lot of injuries. And so you're going to judge this game differently. But here we're going to see Gaston Moore start the first possession of this third quarter. And Moore, he had the best first half of the three quarterbacks, and he starts his third quarter with a completion to Patrick Wilk.
I think it'll be interesting seeing how Tennessee uses the tight ends this year. That was something that was such a staple of Alex Golesh, coming from Iowa State, where they use 22 personnel, 12 personnel, almost every single snap. So Joey Halsley is going to continue the commitment to the tight end, mostly because some of the guys that are coming in, McCallan Castles, haven't talked a ton about him today, but it's a bobble there on the slant route. Another good throw by Gaston Moore, but McCallan Castles, a transfer from UC Davis, was at Cal before that. He's a guy that's already on NFL radar. Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl guy, was talking about McCallan Castles, and so we'll see this tight end position evolve, and we're seeing them targeted a lot today. We saw Ethan White as well get Ethan Davis catch a nice ball down the sideline. So tight ends are going to be a part of it. Bigger part today because of who they're missing at receiver. It'll be interesting to see how this offense develops as the talent starts to gel before fall camp.
Well, we see one of those guys right there, Dante Thornton, who's a transfer out of Oregon, out of Baltimore, Maryland. The hype around him,
it's crazy.
I mean, the way they describe what this kid can do.
I mean, he is every bit of 6'5". I mean, I was down on the field earlier. We were at practice yesterday. He's so long. His length is so impressive. And you think, okay, maybe not as much of a burner.
Right.
And I posed the question to everybody on staff yesterday. I mean, does he have the kind of juice Jalen Hyatt did? Because Jalen Hyatt could roll, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, totally. So 6'5", 205 pounds, great length, great ball skills, and can really fly. If this was a game, he'd be playing today. So it's not a major injury that they're holding him back for, but he's going to be somebody to watch in the fall as a guy that can fill that Jalen Hyatt role, attack the ball or attack the field vertically, make some of those wow plays for Joe Milton.
Joe Milton in at quarterback here. And on first down, the handoff is to Cameron Seldon, got hit in the backfield right away. A loss of one there on the play. You know, obviously, we've talked about the injuries. A lot of weapons are out as Milton drops back, has to step up, and they are going to blow the whistle. But watch this ball. He just threw it down to the 30-yard line from the 10.
So it's interesting, that play right there. Down on the field earlier, talking to Joey Halsley, the offensive coordinator, he said, I have one shot play that I'd like to get to. And he said, I told Joe, even if they blow the whistle, because you're going to need to protect for a long time, I don't care. Just throw it. I think that was that play. He just threw that about 65, 70 maybe, which is a light throw. We say it, but I joke around with them. I did in meeting with him yesterday. It's like, how far can you throw it? And he goes, well, the easy answer is 80. And I'm like, excuse me, that's the easy answer? And he goes, but I've thrown it further than that in practice, and this is not my number.
Right.
He said the number 95 yesterday. I'm not lying to you.
And 95, like, no big deal.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's got 95 in practice. I'm like, excuse me, what? Now, whether he could line up at the goal line and throw it to the opposite 5, I don't know. But the fact that he's just kind of casually talking about anything above 80 yards is insane. You add that to his development, to his mechanics, and the accuracy that he's improved upon. That's why the sky's the limit this year for this offense. If he can start to develop and continue to develop the accuracy, as we see another great intermediate throw there on target, but really develop that touch, I think, is the next step. Like, he can make those 80-yard throws that we're laughing about right now. He can rip a dig route on a line. It's those touch throws that Hendon Hooker had a good feel for, that he'll need to have a feel for at the next level, that'll really start to separate this offense and separate him as an NFL prospect.
I think it's safe to say he's going to be a prospect regardless,
no
just
doubt.
because of his arm strength and his size.
No doubt.
All right, 5:26 to go here in this third quarter. And we're all tied up at 14. That's how many fans are here today for this spring game in Knoxville on first down. Iamaleava has to scramble, and he's going to be whistled down at the 45-yard line. By the way, everyone's so excited about this freshman. You know, Tennessee's already offered his younger brother, who's a quarterback, a sophomore in high school.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I was most interested talking to Joey Halsley about Nico's really development in the tempo, right? I mean, it's hard enough to learn a college playbook, let alone when you're trying to snap the ball every 13 or 14 seconds, as Tennessee often tries to do. So one of the things he said to watch, and that he's continuing to harp on with Nico when it comes to the tempo, is remember to look at the defense. And it sounds simple, but as a quarterback in this offense, when you're learning it, throw down the sideline here. Ooh, a little short, a little off target, but not a bad ball. But in this offense, you get so consumed with tempo, the mechanics of it, getting everybody lined up, getting the call, getting quick. Okay, let's snap, right? That sometimes you forget to go, oh, wait, let me just peek and double check that what the defense is doing, because you're going to need to know that at this level. It sounds funny, but that's one of the things that he's reminding his quarterback. Don't go so fast that you're in a hurry that you miss the important part of understanding what the defense is doing and how that changes where your eyes go and your responsibility.
And Jordan, you know that when you're a freshman, the game is going so fast anyway.
Yeah.
So now it's going so fast, and you're playing at Tennessee's offensive speed. So it's like double to triple
Crazy.
time. I want to know the learning curve of when the game starts to slow down. Because for you as a quarterback, how long before it slows down for you?
Well, and I say this to everybody that asks, it slows down not when you master your offense, but you master what the defense in the box is doing, and really when you master protection. So my junior year, the game was going fast. And that was my first year playing at Vandy, transferred from a junior college. When I walked the line of scrimmage, I knew what my guys were doing, but I wasn't as comfortable with my protection. And so when you understand the protection and the defense in the box, now you don't have to look at that. So now you go from looking at 11 guys to looking at 4 or 5. That's when things slow down. When you can go, okay, the box, I'm good. I know if I get pressure from the left, I got to worry about that. And you kind of just go through that checklist and go, okay, I can take that off my plate. I can take that off my plate. I can take that off my plate. And when you're comfortable with your protection, now you look at safety rotation and DBs and linebacker flow. Instead of all 11, you're looking at that 4 or 5. And that's when the game starts to slow down. But it takes a little while.
Gaston Moore will get the look here at quarterback. First down, the handoff to Hunter Barnes. His first action of the day, the redshirt freshman out of Memphis, Tennessee. Again, it's Barnes, and Barnes up to the 36. Isaac Green with a tackle, a pickup of 6.
Seeing a few of these young DBs getting in for Tennessee as well. That was one thing that defensive coordinator Tim Banks and this staff was really excited about, seeing the length and the youth that they recruited on the outside. The top of your screen, Christian Conyer, 6'1" cornerback, as Gaston Moore looks in that direction. He's in tight coverage there.
And there's an interception.
What a play by Conyer there. Got a hand on that ball, I think.
Cameron Miller with the pick. Off the deflection. Little tip drill.
And look, Tennessee was not great in pass defense last year. A lot of that was circumstantial. A lot of that some injury issues as well. I mean, teams attack Tennessee because they're 2 or 3 scores up most of the time. So they need to improve on that, right? But the young talent that they have to fill in behind Haddon and some of the veterans that they already have that'll be starters, that's promising. And that one right there, Christian Conyer got a hand on that ball. But the emphasis from Tim Banks and the staff was recruiting length. So all these young cornerbacks, Jordan Matthews included, Ricky Gibson, 2 guys we're going to see today in a little bit bigger role than they're used to or than they maybe have in the fall. It's height. They're all 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". You don't have receivers in the SEC that are 5'9", 5'10". You just don't, right? You got big athletic guys. You need to match that athleticism and that length. And Tennessee did a really good job with this recruiting class, especially at the cornerback position.
And we talked with Josh Heupel at the beginning of this broadcast. We talked to them yesterday. And again, the defense gets overlooked so many times for this team. But one thing the coaching staff emphasized was for the first time they have depth.
Yeah.
And there's competition for the positions.
In 2021, they had 68 scholarship guys going into the season. I mean, that's 30 less or 20-something less than you should have. So depth has been a concern. It is not anymore. It's about developing the talent in that second and third group because they got a bunch of seniors that'll be contributors and starters. But the SEC, you got to have that 2 deep.
And it's the 2 deep in all the positions.
Totally.
Up front, you want to go 2 or 3 deep. And as they blow the whistle here in the third quarter, let's see what they want to do here. Joe Milton still dancing. As we'll come back for the final quarter here of this spring game here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Everyone wants an autograph. Here along the Tennessee River in Knoxville, Tennessee, all tied up at 14 between orange and white in this Tennessee spring game. And we've talked about the quarterback Joe Milton and his journey here to Tennessee, but it's pretty remarkable, Jordan, when you think about some of the quarterbacks who were transfers and what they went on to do. Joe Burrow, of course, won a national championship with LSU, #1 pick in the draft. Jalen Hurts was really good at Alabama. Goes to Oklahoma. Goes to the Super Bowl last year. Justin Fields, a transfer. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, all these guys, which, oh, by the way, Hendon Hooker, transfer. And now Joe Milton, transfer. What do you think is the common bond in those guys?
I think it's twofold, right? The first is fit. And as a young 16, 17-year-old, sometimes you don't know the offensive fit that is going to be best for your development. So when you've had 1 or 2 years, you understand what you need to become that first-round #1 overall pick, NFL starter, and you go find that. And that's what Joe Milton did, right? He needed a different offensive fit, a different development. That's what he did. What did I say, twofold? What was the other one? I lost my train of thought.
Tries to zip that pass in there to Chaz Nimrod. It's incomplete. But it's also, what's interesting is obviously those guys, for the most part, were big-time recruits.
Yeah.
For the most part. But there's something about humbling you.
Yes.
And growing, maturing. And Joe Milton, he said, look, 17 to 23, a lot changes in that time. You mature with age. Here he is on 4th and 5. And he completes that pass, and you saw the arm strength right there. Nope. Now let's see. They're going to say incomplete. Incomplete. They were juggling the ball. So Nimrod does not come through with a catch.
But look at Milton right now. These are the things you want to see, right? Adversity, someone drops, giving every one of his offensive linemen a high five right there. Solving problems, being a leader, right? I mean, okay. Would have been first down, dropped. No big deal. High five. Hey, we're good. We're good. It's a part of the things you want to see in spring because it's, again, 14 to 14. Not sure what team he was playing for there, orange or white. Doesn't really matter. It's about developing leadership, developing rapport, solving problems. The scoreboard right now, although it's fun to look at, it's a little irrelevant.
That, again, is one of the biggest changes for Milton, is the leadership responsibilities. He is the guy, and he learned a lot from watching Hooker last year, living with him and trying to help him out, watching film, meeting with him, making sure that everybody was on the right page. I really enjoyed our conversation with him. And it was really funny when you asked the question of, you know, you ever afraid the guys get too far away from you before you throw the ball? He's like, oh, no, never. I'm never worried about that.
And I'm watching him right now walk straight over to find Chaz Nimrod. Just gave him a high five, tapped him on the shoulder, and he's talking to him right now. This is a quarterback. This is a leader right now. Your receiver drops the ball on 3rd down. Hey, here's what I saw. Don't worry about. Shake it off. Here's what we'll do next time. I mean, that's a great example of now he is the guy. Now it's his job to make everybody around him better with him.
Oh, nice job keeping it here by Iamaleava. And by the way, let's talk a little bit more about this guy, because last year he lived with Hendon Hooker. He says, this year I'm living by myself. It's just me and my dog. His dog, Bubba. And his dog will be 3 years old on April 20th, a pit bull. He got him at 4 weeks old. He said, I had to feed him with a bottle when I first got him.
What a cutie.
Oh, look at Bubba. Oh, so cute. That is awesome.
He just kept saying, man, he's so needy.
Yeah.
Like, Joe, hey, this is what it's going to be like when you have a kid someday. I mean, you thought living by yourself was going to be peaceful, but, hey, Bubba needs his attention too.
First down here, a 4th down conversion as they pick up 6. But we also asked the question, you ever throw a baseball? Yeah, how fast were you clocked? 96 miles per hour.
Oh, that's
you ever
it.
play baseball? No. 96 on the radar gun for Milton. So if you're a Major League Baseball team, last round of the draft, do you just take a flyer on this guy?
No doubt. Never played baseball. Can you imagine if he just got a few pointers? He's probably hitting 100 real quick.
Real quick.
So what, another really good decision there by Nico. I've been impressed so far with his pocket mobility and really more so his pocket awareness. We've seen him get outside the pocket a few times, scramble on plays, but him navigating inside the pocket or deciding when to run. A lot of times with a young quarterback, you see him get outside the pocket, but they probably shouldn't have. They probably should have got the ball out of their hands. He's made good decisions about when to get the ball out of his hands, when to navigate the pocket. He's been under pressure quite a bit. He's got really good poise for a young kid, and that's a great ball right there.
Nice catch as well. There's Ethan Davis again. This kid has some good hands.
Great hands, and this was a tough throw. Got to get that over a linebacker, but it was only about a 15-yard throw, so it's got to have enough velocity to get high and then back down in tight coverage. Little stick nod by the tight end there.
On 1st and goal, throw to the end zone, and that's incomplete into double coverage. Looking for Nigel Lanier.
So first mistake there. Same route concept that Gaston Moore threw a touchdown on. I think the first touchdown of the game. It's a little corner route, or it should be a corner route, but because they're playing zone, that corner on the outside, the receiver stays vertical, and he should be thrown to the underneath route. If that's man coverage, then you throw to that inside receiver. Because it's zone, he should have dumped it off to the outside receiver.
Throws high again, this time no catch. Juggling it was Ethan Davis. Arion Carter delivered the hit, and Davis is still down. You don't want to see a player get injured. As they take a look at Davis, we'll take a break. We hope he's all right. Ethan Davis was able to get up and walk off the field on his own power. The freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. And that's a look at Joe Milton as we have 4:27 left to go here in this 2023 spring game in Tennessee. And obviously, one of the concerns in these games is you don't want anyone to get hurt. So let's just hope that it is just a minor thing for Ethan Davis. He'll be fine, come back to practice, all good. Because you can see this kid has got a lot of potential.
I think that's one of my big takeaways from today, the tight end position.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got Jacob Warren. He's a veteran. He'll be a great player. But Ethan Davis, McCallan Castle is the transfer as well. They get deep in that tight end room.
Maleava out of the pocket. In trouble. And now they blow the whistle and blow the play dead. But think about the weapons offensively. So you said, okay, my takeaway is the tight ends.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 3 tight ends,
yeah,
legitimate players. Then you go the wide receiver room. And you go Squirrel Wright, Dante Thornton, Brew McCoy, Ramel Keaton.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, none of those guys are playing today. Now you go the running back room. Jabari Small, Jalen Wright. We've seen Cameron Seldon. I mean, if you're a defense looking at the offense for Tennessee, you're going, oh my gosh, we're going to have a field goal opportunity here. JT Carver. And that is good. They were worried about the tie,
yeah,
what to do in a spring game for the tie. But okay, let's talk about those weapons. You know, we've talked about the quarterback position. You've got this huge prospect, but now look at this receiver trio. And by the way, Dante Thornton's not in there.
He's got maybe the biggest upside.
Right.
Another name we haven't mentioned today, Squirrel White. I mean, I am so excited about him. So is this staff. I mean, he is one of the more explosive players in the entire SEC. He'll be a slot guy, can stretch the field, get the ball in his hands in space. But Ramel Keaton made a huge jump last year, over 500 yards. And Brew McCoy, second best receiver last year behind Jalen Hyatt. Super consistent, big-bodied target. I mean, there is a legitimate 4-deep, really talented receiver crew. And then you combine that with the tight ends. We were mentioning the transfer of McCallan Castles, the young true freshman in Ethan Davis, and then obviously Jacob Warren and his veteran capabilities and experience that he brings. It's a dangerous passing attack.
Those two quarterbacks talking things over as Gaston Moore is in. And we talked about for Tennessee depth, right? We talked a lot about depth on the defensive side of the ball, and that's how you can really make a difference in the SEC. But think about depth for the offense and what you have kind of growing. Obviously, Joe Milton is going to be your quarterback this year, but then you got Nico behind him. You've got Cameron Seldon, true freshman, behind him at running back. You've got Ethan Davis, a true freshman at tight end. You're starting to build that depth now on both sides of the ball to have continuity where you can be a top 5, top 10 program year after year.
Starting to look like a true SEC team, right? And I say that with the utmost respect because Georgia and Alabama have been the cream of the crop.
Yes.
Why? Well, yes, their first 22, 11 on offense, 11 on defense are really good. But their 23 to 55 is better than anybody in the country, and that's what makes you a good team to a great team because you can withstand injuries. You can withstand adversity that happens, and this Tennessee team, that's been their Achilles heel. They've been talented. Their top tier players are as talented as anybody. They haven't had the depth. They have the depth now.
And then you can withstand attrition. And,
totally.
You know, guys leaving for the NFL, oh, by the way, we're going to fill in that gap with another guy who's going to be an NFL player.
We need to remember now, too, there is a lot on the line for the Orange right now. Gaston Moore is probably the MVP for the white and the orange. He's got a chance now to win it, even though I think he put up 2 touchdowns for the white. I'm not quite sure.
Here he is, pressured, and they'll blow this one dead. Jason Jenkins will get credit for that one. 45 seconds to go. But you can see why there was almost 60,000 people here today.
Oh, yeah.
why they're so excited for the fall to come and try to pick up where they left off in the Orange Bowl. Moore, and he gets sacked. (11-2) last year, 6-2 in conference. They beat Clemson 31-14 in the Orange Bowl, and that will be the final play of the game. It is a victory for the team in white, 17-14. I would think in a spring game, the next step, the next level is having the coach go to midfield to shake hands, to really simulate a regular game.
Who's he shaking hands with?
I don't know, just
because the C coordinator's up here sitting to my right.
A lot of first for these guys, the first time for these players playing a spring game here at Neyland Stadium. A lot for the young guys getting a chance to play in front of 60,000 people in the orange and white. That 11-2 season last year highlighted, I think you'd say, with the Alabama victory, with the Orange Bowl victory. And let's kind of look at what they have on tap for this year. They start September 2nd against Virginia. As you look at that schedule, obviously it's an SEC schedule, but what do you take away from it?
I think September 16th at Florida is a really good first test. I mean, Virginia out the gate, it's not going to be a walk in the park. That program is solid, but at Florida, September 16th, South Carolina, revenge game on the 30th. You're going to get to know a little bit about your program, but I will say it does set up nicely. Right, you got Texas A&M, then Alabama and Kentucky. That stretch in October, that's going to be a make or break. Those are some big-time programs, 2 road games at Alabama, at Kentucky. Sets up nicely early. I think you're going to get to know a lot about Joe Milton, some of these young, talented players at Florida, and see where they go from there.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun. You're going to see, can Joe Milton find his comfort zone early in this offense? And if he does, watch out, sky's the limit.
No doubt. I mean, his physical tools, as we mentioned, don't need to harp on it again, but he's going to be considered a first-round draft pick. Just based off that alone. You see it in Anthony Richardson right now. The tape doesn't have to match it when you have those kind of intangibles. But he's going to perform really well, I think, this year. He has developed his accuracy downfield. I think the touch will continue to develop, but I think the weapons around him, as we spoke about, is going to set this team up, the depth on defense, to make another run at a college football playoff.
Well, I tell you what, this team should be fun to watch offensively, defensively this year. Josh Heupel is building something special here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Trying to go back-to-back, at least 11-win seasons for the first time since 1997, 1998. Oh, by the way, in 98, they won the national championship. For Jordan Rogers and our entire crew, I am Justin Kutcher saying so long from Knoxville. Hope you enjoyed the Tennessee spring game.